Thank you. Welcome back to the Christian View. Today we're talking about purity and virginity. And, you know, we've been hearing about purity rings for years and years and years. Purity pledges, true love waits. Do you think that's really working?
You know what, virginity is a condition of purity. Purity is a state of mind. You know, it affects your whole being. Yeah. So I think there is a difference, you know, between them, but, you know, of course they work together. So
we live in a day in society where I think that some people think they're walking down the aisle as virgins, but they haven't been pure. They have done everything but. I have Christian friends that say they went to Christian college, and with their husband they did everything but they walked down in a white dress. And so, like you said, purity wasn't a state of mind or a sense in their spirit. It was, how close to the edge can you get without falling off? Yeah. You know, instead of staying away from the cliff, the end of the cliff.
And I think whatever we can do to bring attention to purity and not feel like we're being old fogies or something like that, you know, just to be that voice of Jesus Christ and teach our children. I was so impressed with some girls in our church. They got together and did kind of like an overnight lock-in. They brought all the girls together and they taught on purity. And one of the illustrations they did that was so great, they put on a white t-shirt, they painted it with a pink heart, they had a mannequin. They painted that mannequin's t-shirt with a black heart, and the speaker embraced that heart. And when she came away, the black paint was all over her beautiful pink heart. And it was just such a great illustration that I'll never forget, you know, that really the issue, the root of purity or the reason behind it is to guard your heart. You know, guard your heart, for out of it flow the issues of life, you know, and if you are entering into impurity, your heart is wide open to be hurt and crushed.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can start at any time. I don't think we need to be judgmental in that many of us and many out there may not have been raised and had that foundation, and it does make a difference, but you can start. You know, even if you've already stumbled and fallen flat on your face, like I've done in the past, you can say, okay, Lord, I just want to renew my relationship with you in such a way that I want to make a new start.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And start today. Yeah. You know, and choosing more pure. And you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
I think that's why one of the questions.
I was just going to say, most people don't know. I like what you said there. Yeah.
One of the questions that was addressed to our panel was about the purity rings.
Right.
And you know, that is something that I think started a long time ago, but I think is relevant today, and I think is great, especially, you know, with teenagers, to be able to wear a purity ring, because that symbol, it always reminds you, you know, of your commitment. You know, and that commitment is challenged every day. You know, just because you have that ring on, don't make it, you know, fix it. You know, you have to have that purity mindset in order to make that decision every day to be pure, to keep a pure mindset, you know.
That's right. And I think that like say the teenagers, kids that are coming up, it's one thing to hear it from mom and dad, but it's another thing to hear it from a peer or someone a little older. And one of the articles that we read was by a pastor's wife, and she went into her daughter's room and she was going to fuss at her about her messy room. And then she said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I work with, you know, the junior highs or middle highs school girls." And she said, "I'm writing dating guidelines for them." She said, "Do you want to hear them?" And so she started reading some of the things that she was going to teach her middle schoolers. And it was, you know, don't give away your body or your heart. And, you know, then she got down to practical. No unzipping, no unbuttoning, no unvelcroing. And, you know, no horizontal kissing, only vertical kiss. And the mom said all of a sudden the messy room made didn't matter.
That's right.
Because she saw her daughter, you know, like high school, you know, like 12th grade, teaching these other younger girls, hey, you're coming up. These are the things you're going to face. Don't do these things.
And that's just it, Dawn. I mean, the purity rings are great, and the True Love Weight conferences are wonderful, but they're not going to make it complete unless the parents get involved and unless the kids know that they don't have to isolate themselves when they're in temptation, you know, in a tempting circumstance, because they're going to run into those circumstances. We all have, and all people will. So don't isolate. I think that's so important.
It's true.
Yeah, I think especially in our society today, you know, our youth, they're being desensitized through the media, through television. I mean, you can barely turn on the television without seeing all kinds of stuff.
Everywhere.
I mean,
billboards going down the
and I mean regular television, not cable. I'm just talking about regular television now.
Yes,
you know,
commercials.
Think of the ads that are going on during American Idol.
During
some of the shows, yes, or yes, and Super Bowl.
Yes.
What is the loose dress, the loose morals, everything? You know, during those halftime shows. I mean, there was the Janet Jackson, you know, wardrobe malfunction, and this is what our kids are seeing.
That's right. Exactly.
And we've got to compete against that and say that's wrong. This is right.
But we've also got to be that understanding mom or that understanding mentor to those young adults and say, here's what's going on. But I had another younger girl come to me, and we were talking, that was at our church, and we're talking about, she's grown up in church, she's true love waits all the way, but she said she and her boyfriend had been dating a couple years, and she was struggling. And she was very transparent with me. But for those 2 years, she and her boyfriend both isolated the fact that they were struggling because they felt like they would be judged if they told anybody. And so the important thing is, when I say don't isolate yourself, you've got to tell someone, because what's held in the darkness and what you keep in isolation, Satan is just going to play with you and mess with you in.
Right, that's why we push group dating with our older two that are the dating age. We say, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It takes the pressure off of getting in a romantic relationship before you're ready, getting your heart broken. Go out as a group and, you know, don't isolate yourself. I like that.
And not bring it in from the law. This is the law.
Yeah.
There are consequences if you don't do it God's way. And
stay with us. We'll be right back. There are consequences.